again, with the First Mariner Bank, First Mariner Arena, and that Senator Theater up there that is still in trouble. So again, why you can't even get charity, they give charity to Ed Hale and these white developers around the city, man. All I'm saying is fair, right is right, wrong is wrong, and white is white. Or right is right, rather, should I say. Could be white is white. Because if they white for them downtown, a few select developers, man, then the sky's the limit for them. For you, your limit ain't even the sky, just the sidewalk. Just the sidewalk. And this is the problem in the city when you got a criminal enterprise disguising itself as legitimate government, then other developers that want to come into Baltimore, other businesses that want to come in and get their permits and operate in Baltimore City that may be in the state of Maryland. I'm not talking about the ones from the outside surrounding states, but those that's in Maryland that want to come into Baltimore, they get blocked out and locked out. They get blocked out and locked out. Those that's in the DMV that want to come in and help you and me, they get locked out and blocked out from the criminal enterprise down there in City Hall or the criminal enterprise in Annapolis. Let me go to this clip, and then we're going to come to the lines talking about the Harbor Point development and, again, the hearing which took place, and Councilman Stokes saying that if he has to go to court, man, and others should join him. But see, that's what our fathers and our ancestors and those who were really freedom fighters, that's what they did in the 60s. They used those 5 ingredients of the mobilization, the education, the communication, the litigation, and the legislation. And that's what we're going to have to use today, and maybe a few more ingredients we're going to have to throw in the pot this time around. But let me go to this clip, man. Then we'll come back in, and if time permits, I'll get back into the Trayvon Martin case because there's much more. And I'll give you the websites where you can go and read it for yourselves as far as this information. And we'll talk about, of course, what we can do and what we should do, in the words of our great leader, Kwame Ture, in terms of organizing. But let me go to this clip talking about Harbor Point. Then we'll come back in and go a little deeper into the show this afternoon. Listen to this message talking about, or news story from WBFF Fox 45 talking about Harbor Point. See if we can get a little more volume on it. They got to turn the volume down.
Long-standing vacant property.
Baltimore's mayor is adamant in her support behind this deal, a $1.8 billion plan to build a corporate headquarters for energy giant Exelon, along with stores, homes, and a hotel. The builder says he needs more than $100 million in tax breaks from the city to make the project work. His message, pay up or else.
If the TIF doesn't get approved, what we see here today is what we will see for a long period of time, unfortunately.
The tax bonus is a tax increment financing, or TIF. It requires the city to secure bonds for infrastructure. The developer wants $107 million in subsidies. But after you factor in the interest, taxpayers would be on the hook for a lot more.
It'll come up to about $260-some million that the city will not take in property tax.
Baltimore's history of tax-subsidized development can be traced all the way back to the 50s. That's when department stores here on Howard Street began experiencing decline. The city drafted a plan to try and save them. It didn't work.
This has been going on for decades.
Then the city pumped funding into Charles Center, though today you'll find vacant buildings up and down Charles Street. Next came the Inner Harbor, Harbor East, and now Harbor Point.
It's been one big publicly funded or publicly subsidized project after another downtown.
Development expert Haywood Sanders has doubts these deals are ever successful for taxpayers. He says history is full of cautionary tales, like the Downtown Convention Hotel, built entirely with public assistance, but it's never been profitable. Now taxpayers are footing the bill for the bonds that politicians of the past promised would be worth every penny.
Unfortunately, when it doesn't succeed, they're not around anymore.
Perhaps part of the failure is due to a lack of details. While the city prepares to approve hundreds of millions in tax breaks for Harbor Point, much of the process has been shrouded in secrecy. First, our formal records request for a cost-benefit analysis was denied. Then, the City Finance Board kicked our cameras out of this public hearing about the proposed deal. Councilman Carl Stokes says he can't even get answers to questions about the private funding behind Harbor Point, if there is any.
We will continue the demand of it, and at some point, and that point is very near, we're going to go to subpoena power.
About the only thing city officials have released is this one-page memo, which is supposed to explain why this land can't be developed without your tax dollars.
Maybe it's time to think about saving Baltimore in a different way.
Every time Fox 45 has tried to secure details about the project or the success rate of past publicly funded promises, we are told that information is coming, but we have yet to receive it. Not from the mayor or the city finance director or the council president. In fact, the mayor admits no one really knows how many new jobs the Harbor Point project would create once it's built.
So to me, to talk about it, and to say, oh, wait, we can't give you the exact number on jobs, so we shouldn't do it.
Critics aren't optimistic.
More than likely, it'll do what Charles Center did 50 years ago. It'll move things around a bit, look nice and shiny, and in the end accomplish remarkably little.
But some city leaders seem poised to grant the big tax break anyway, and they could cast their vote next month. Melinda Roeder, Fox 45 News at 10.
Welcome back. You're listening to the State of the City. Let me open up the lines, take your thoughts, questions, comments on this. 410-761-1592. But shame on your mayor, man. Shame on Michael Beatty. But what do you expect? What do you expect, in the words of little Rachel Gentile, man, in the Trayvon Martin case? What do you expect from a creepy cracker, man? What do you expect from a creepy cracker and Michael Beatty? What do you expect from him, these extortion tactics, man? What do you expect from a multi-millionaire creepy cracker, if I can keep it real? What do you expect? Or the honky-tonk man. And the honky-tonk man just used to be a white man that used to drive up to the black brothel houses, blow the horn, and the sisters would run outside. Now, let me keep it real. That's Michael Beatty. Your mayor just ran outside for him, for the honky-tonk man, if I can keep it real. And playing a game of musical chairs is what your mayor and your former mayor and your governor has been doing. But again, changing chairs and changing furniture on the deck of the Titanic is not going to stop that sinking, stinking ship, as I said the other day. With that, let me come to the lines. If I don't get into the Trayvon Martin case today, I promise you, I have some guests joining me tomorrow, but I'm going to get back into that Trayvon Martin case because there's much more that I'm going to get into and share with you that you ain't going to hear from anyone else. But again, I tell you, as I said before, do not follow Al Sharpton. Do not follow Mark Morial. Do not follow Ben Jealous. And we'll come back in and give you those products that we are asking you to participate in, our economic withdrawal and economic boycott, that we'll come back in and talk about and give you a message of Dr. King tomorrow talking about just that. But in the meantime, in between time, let me come to the lines, 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the State of the City.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Darren Muhammad.
Wa alaikum salam. So your thoughts and comments, brother.
Brother.
Yes, sir.
How many times have we heard this? Last time I checked, I thought the Grand Prix was going to produce jobs. I thought voting on the casino was going to produce jobs. How many times this damn woman going to lie to the people?
I think every time she opens her mouth, she's lying to the people, brother. You know what I mean? Every time she opens her mouth, she's lying to the people. But please continue.
It's just criminal. All of them should be lined up with a straight trail to jail. No bail. Central booking. No bail.
So I'd send them to Hagerstown. I wouldn't even want them to be in Baltimore. I'd send them as far as they try to send that young brother Trayvon White, man. I'd send them to Hagerstown or West Virginia, brother. All right?
And another thing before I get out the line, we definitely have to get behind Councilman Carl Stokes.
Yes,
that's
sir.
a must.
Right. Yeah.
Because like I said the other day when we was talking, as we speaking, they're plotting on somebody to run against him.
Yeah, they're even gonna try to get the girl that ran before, but I doubt they get her Ramos, or they may go and get their boy Toy that's sitting down there with Safe and Sound or the Baltimore Community Foundation Westmore. So stay tuned for that. All right.
Yes, sir, and keep putting that pressure on them, brother.
All right, brother, appreciate it. We're going to bring it like this heat, hazy, hot, humid, and give them a hostile gospel if we have to, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, get the brothers the greetings out there. Love you. Peace. And with that, we'll take more of your calls, 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Good afternoon, Brother Dern. How are you?
I'm good, soldier. Thoughts, comments on this mess, man?
Hey, Brother Dern, just a same old song coming to us in another way, brother.
No, I don't know if it's the same old one, man. This one seems to be getting worse when the people have a real thirst for justice and a real thirst for truth, a real thirst for jobs, and it seems that it's getting worse, even to the point that your mayor, rather than embrace the people from Perkins Homes, and Michael Beatty, rather than embrace them and thank them, they go and get some hired guns to try to come down there and intimidate the people. So we're going to call for all men to come on out. The next hearing, I'm going to make sure that I'm there, and I'm calling for all the brothers to come out and join us as well. I'll be damned if we're going to have anybody try to intimidate our women and intimidate our people who are trying to stand up for something that's right in this city today. All right, brother?
Hey, brother, look here, man. You called out 3 names, brother, for us not to support. Hey, let me ask you one quick question real quick.
Yes.
Do Alec, the National Action Network, and the NAACP have in common?
Well, I'm going to look into it, man, but you always got to check because they get their money from the same corporations.
There you go, brother.
And somebody sent me a message talking about Al Sharpton was being sued by George Zimmerman's lawyer. I said, once we finish giving you these facts, you may find out that George Zimmerman's lawyer is Al Sharpton is working for George Zimmerman's lawyer, all right?
Hey, brother, connect the dots, man.
All right, brother, appreciate it now. But stay tuned because we're going to definitely give it to you with that. Let me come back to the line because they say the criminals returned to the scene of the crime. And Florida was where Al Sharpton was working with Roger Stone and the boys down there to help George Bush, the son of the Bush, to become the president of the United States. So the criminals always return to the scene of the crime. That, let me come back to the line, 410-761-1592. You can tell him I said it. I think he'll be here tomorrow. He can call if he wants tomorrow if he's here. But I'm going to definitely expose Sharpton in terms of, again, being the charlatan that he is, and that night of Malta and much more for sure around Trayvon Martin and how they're trying to manipulate the American people around the death of Trayvon Martin when we've lost so many other young people. But they won't rally you around that. But they want to rally you around this one and this one in particular. But we got to ask, what's their bigger plan? And we'll definitely expose that in a few days. With that, let me come back to the lines. Good afternoon, caller. You on the stage of the city. Caller, you there? All right, give me a call back when you're ready to talk now. Trying to talk to me and 3 other people. Good afternoon, caller. You on the state of the city.
Yeah, how you doing, Darren?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I couldn't make that meeting yesterday, brother.
Yes.
But yes, like you said, I was upset at the tactics that the mayor and Didi done by bringing out their coons, man.
Yeah, that's
you know,
right. That's
to try to distract the people of
Right.
Perkins home, man.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
right.
you're right. The next time we got to show up, down there.
That's right. Yes, sir. Calling for
Did I hear you
we're gonna
say
call for
that-
300 men. Now let's see if they come out this time.
That's right,
We're
Darren.
calling for
That's
three.
right.
We're gonna call
That's
for
right, Darren.
300
Yeah.
men. And why 300? Because I was getting my hair cut in the barbershop, as I heard the brother say, and we say 300 because it was 300 in the movie that took on 1 million. Well, okay, we're gonna see if the
Okay.
300 come down and join us, brother.
That's
All right.
right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Please
Hey,
continue.
Darren, did I hear you say that Carl said that he would take this to court?
Yes.
Oh,
That's what
good.
I said. Yes, sir.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the remedy right there, because like you said, on the surface, not on the surface, but it don't even look like fraud. It is fraud.
It is fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud and extortion. And this is the same thing that John Paterakis was guilty of, campaign finance violation, but it really was bribery of an elected official. And this is what we're looking at with Michael Beatty. And you would think somebody would try to pull this girl heels. At least she got rid of all that weave and she is unbelievable. Somebody would pull her up and say, "You're going too far, Madam Mayor. You're going too far, Madam Mayor. You understand? You're supposed to let one of your deputy mayors do this, but you are just so obvious in terms of acting like a concierge for Michael Beatty that you inviting the state's attorney, the Fed, somebody to just look obviously at your relationship with them, and you spend more time in Harbor East than you do in City Hall anyway. It's 12:45. Do you know where your mayor is, brother?
That's right, brother.
Check 4 seasons. She may be over 4 seasons. And they say she don't need a reason to be partying either, man. But check 4 seasons. She could be up in one of them suites in between the sheets right now as we speaking, brother.
Well, I hope Carl takes him to court, because I do believe he will get remedy there, and he might have to appeal, okay?
Yes,
because
sir.
we know that court down there, downtown they'd be paid off.
Well, if I was Carl, I'd take a page out of Joan Pratt book and go and get Peter Angelo's pro bono,
Right.
because they're not happy, even though Paterakis is Greek and Angelos is Greek. Angelos and the law firm of Rifkin and Livingston, they were representing the ones who were concerned about how they got all that empty space in Harbor West because they putting all the money over in Harbor East, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, what the old saying goes, there was no country for old men, and there will be blood. All right?
And we don't have no friend with our city council president, brother.
Oh, no, man. No, you see Jack True Colors, man. He don't have
True Colors
he don't,
showed up yesterday,
he don't have
brother.
the testicular fortitude to take no stand, man.
Brother.
He
wearing some panties, man,
Well, I check him for a thong. Forget the panties, bro. Check him for a thong, man. Panties may cost too much. All right?
All right,
Appreciate
brother. See
it,
you
brother.
later, man.
All right, man. We'll take more of your calls. Good afternoon, caller. You on the state of the city.
Yes, how you doing? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Come on with your comments, brother.
Hey, how you doing, Soldier?
I'm
this
good.
Brother Gang, Muhammad, Soldier.
Hey, Soldier, how you feel? Come on now. I love the salutation, but I want to get right into the information. Come on, brother.
Okay, Soldier, I'll just call.